Hey, good afternoon, citizens. Today we're talking about Antifa, and I'm not circling around Antifa being short for anti-fascist and those word games. That's a distraction. I'm talking big picture and again about the death of our common language. I want to believe what my government says, and I want the language to be clear enough that we don't need to guess the true meaning of what's being said all the time. Um, Starting with the executive order designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization signed on 22 September. Like many executive orders, it doesn't really have a grounding in law. We don't have a good way to talk about domestic terror organizations. Then we got to the Antifa Roundtable on 8 October. I'm going to read you some quotes here. Speaking of Antifa, we're recognizing how advanced they are, how sophisticated their networks are, and how they have built out their funding mechanisms. Another quote. This network of Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13, TDA, ISIS, Hezbollah, and Hamas, just as dangerous. And from Stephen Miller, this is part of an organized campaign. It is structured, it is sophisticated, it is well funded, it is well planned. So you can go watch that. You get about an hour and a half on YouTube, and draw your own conclusions about if you feel like whatever it is. Now that we've named the demon, let's get cracking on how does the U.S. win? Does the U.S. have any intelligence agencies that could do the hard work of finding this sophisticated and well-funded network? Well, yes, we do. Here we go. We've got ODNI, CIA, DIA, NSA, NGA, NRO, military intel from Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, and Space Force, the FBI, the DOJ, the DEA, State Intelligence, Treasury OIA, Department of Energy OICI, DHS, INA, and last but not least, the Coast Guard Intelligence. Great. We have massive security apparatus that could find where Antifa is. Do we have any confidence that these 18 intel communities can track such high profile and mysterious terrorists? Well, are the leaders of Antifa more squirrely than Anwar al Awlaki, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Abu Musab al Zawahiri, Ayman al Zawahiri, Abu Bakr al Baghdadi, Saddam Hussein, or Osama bin Laden? I don't think so. These intel agencies can find a man in a cave across the world uh, without problem. So I believe that we have a binary problem, or at least a great distance between the spoken words and reality. Either Antifa exists as the admin says it does, and our $100 billion intelligence agencies are garbage, or Antifa doesn't exist in the way the administration says it does. Why am I getting excited about wordplay? Well, just as I don't want my cities described as war zones, I don't want a vague terror label used to justify violations of civil rights. If there's evidence of crimes, charge the crimes, but don't inflate the movement into some monster in the shadows. We just did 2 decades of war on terror, and I don't want the war on terror language being twisted to fit somebody's narrative or to make reality what it isn't. Our history tells us that administrations use exaggerated enemies to deliver political justice with very thin evidence. I'm going to hit the highlights here. Alien and Sedition Act Panic of 1798. French Jacobins targeted and political opponents done away with. Anti-Catholic conspiracies 1830 to 1850, alleging secret papist organizations plotting to do bad things. The first Red Scare and Palmer raids of 1919-1920, alleging organized Bolsheviks, resulting in sweeping arrests and deportation without warrants, thousands. Japanese Americans acting in an alleged fifth column within America, 1941-1942, resulting in mass incarcerations. McCarthyism, 1950 to 1954, alleging organized communists trying to take over America. and the satanic panic of the 80s and 90s, alleging a well-organized satanic cult existed to abuse daycare kids. Now, history looks at all of these and says, well, it wasn't really what they were saying that it was. Each one of these fell apart in their own special way. But I don't want to repeat or have any historical rhyming with any of that. I've said some aggressive things here uh, towards the admin. I know that triggers a lot of people, and I would be humbled to be proven wrong. But in the same breath, I would like to see receipts. Uh, it's been 3 weeks since that roundtable. What progress is there? When can we expect an update? The best we got was, oh, we arrested one of the Antifa founders' girlfriends, and then that story evaporated. Uh, okay, I believe if this administration had something, they would parade it up and down every outlet that they possibly could. So maybe you think differently. I want to kind of close up just to kind of bracket my claims here. Yes, some individuals have identified as anti-fascists and have committed violent crimes and have been charged. This is not indicative of a national threat network worthy of this level of attention and fear mongering. I did Google Antifa, and you can find uh, Antifa. I don't know, organizations. They're like collectives in Portland or whatever. If they have a public website, that's not the Antifa you're looking for. So to close, do we collectively feel threatened by Antifa? Do you personally know anyone that fears Antifa? The government says we should be afraid of Antifa, that it's serious. This is a national, well-organized terror network on our soil right now. I don't feel an atom of fear about this. I don't, maybe you do. Maybe you know people that do. So the what I'm getting at is there's a flaw in the common reality here. Antifa exists, but it doesn't. And you should be afraid, but you aren't. And when we've corrupted the words so hard, it sets the stage for breaking our shared reality. And I'm going to let you imagine what the administration could do with a broad executive order, not quite grounded in law, um, that names a nebulous terrorist group that doesn't really exist. Okay. I'll stop it there. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. And the next video tomorrow. See ya.